At one time, only witches did that because it marks the point of where the sun was at the time you were born. And then it goes around the circle to the next year to that time when you're born, and they say many happy returns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where that saying came from.
Oh, my.
That originated in witchcraft, many happy returns, because you go around the circle of the earth, around the circle of the astral sphere. And so they put a candle on the cake because the flame of the candle was the representation of the sun god on earth. This goes back to Babylon and back to antiquity. That's why candles are still used in religious services, even though they have electric lights.
Now, are you saying that it's pagan if I have a candle up in my living room, that's a pagan custom?
No, it would only be if you used it in a ritual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
All right.
Yep. But when they're used in a ritual, that's the purpose of it, because they believe it's the very presence of the sun god on earth.
Now, when you talk about astrology, and of course, well, in the newspapers, we see every day the astrological predictions. I mean, that's no big deal. That's just kind of like for fun, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you could say that except for one thing, and that is that if you put your faith in it, and a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of people read it and say that's ridiculous. They don't think anything of it. But one thing that happens is if you read something like that, it does go into your mind, and it gives the evil spirits an opportunity to use that. Now, you can dismiss it, and that's all well and good, but a lot of people react to it. Some people firmly believe it. That allows the evil spirits to work along that channel and to make those things happen. Let's say you pick up the paper and you read that, let's see, today you'll come into money, you'll find money. And lo and behold, they find a $5 bill laying on the floor or something. Well, that just confirmed what their horoscope said. And I have done that with people. I've actually, in the past, that's when I was an astrologer, I would tell them things specifically like that, and it would happen. Because an evil spirit brings about whatever it has to do to manufacture something to happen that would not have otherwise happened. So it's not prophecy. It doesn't work. It's manufactured by the spirit world. And when people put their faith in it, it hurts them spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, this kind of astrology that you practiced, that got to be a big part of your life? Did you use it to make money with? Or is it something that is it evil to do astrology? Yes.
There is no such thing as good astrology. When I was an astrologer, I believed I was doing people good, that I had this feeling I was a good witch, you know. I could help people. I could warn people of things to come. There was an old saying in astrology, the stars don't compel, they impel, that this is likely to happen, so watch out. And so but if I get angry with somebody, then the reverse would happen, and I would throw something at them to try to cause them trouble. So, but there really is no good astrology because it's strictly a satanic device, and you can't use it for good.
Really?
Right.
So there's no good way to say, well, I use astrology, but I use it for the white, for the good, for the whatever.
Right. I mean, you would be surprised that's exactly right. You would be surprised how many people in high places live by the stars. You know, Hollywood runs on astrology. Our government runs on astrology. Teddy Roosevelt had a horoscope hanging in the Oval Office at all times. And various other presidents, Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan, of course, mentioned that her husband never made a decision without consulting the astrologer. She came right out and admitted that.
Uh-huh.
Now, we know that Hillary Clinton would sit with Gene Houston in the solarium and talk to the late Eleanor Roosevelt. So, you know, these kind of things are happening all the time, and our government literally runs on this. I was contacted by a woman who worked with Gene Dixon, And I haven't heard from her for a long time now. I met her in the Detroit airport at one point. She was scared half out of her mind because the government had offered her a job as an astrologer. Now, you don't find that on their employment list, their jobs list, but they have them. And she turned them down, and she was afraid of what was going to happen to her. And to be honest with you, she's disappeared. I haven't heard from her now.
Well, aside from astrology, is numerology connected with that? Is there good numerology, bad numerology?
Okay, God uses numbers, okay, but the numerology that is commonly used is not of God. Like, you find numbers in the Bible, and God works in patterns, and numbers also are very much involved in Bible prophecy. Now, let me give you one little example of that I think is kind of interesting. If you look at dates, now the old Roman Empire actually fell in 3 stages, but it officially fell in the year 476 A.D. Now, in the year 1534, King Henry VIII of England broke away from the Roman Catholic Church and started the Church of England, which fractured Europe. And because there was what they called the Holy Roman Empire, and the United States of Europe, you might call it at the time, but it failed under Charlemagne and so forth. Now, if you take that 476 and 1534 and add them together, you come up with the year 2010. And what we're seeing right now with the revival of Europe, the European Union, the euro dollar, which is going to replace the American dollar as reserve currency, this is fulfillment to prophecy. This is a revived European empire, the old Roman Empire coming back.
Interesting. Well, we want to see how this fits into prophecy. We also want to hear how you made the change from the dark to the light after this 3-minute break. Our guest today is David J. Meyer, Pastor David J. Meyer. He pastors a church, and if you're fortunate to live in his area, wouldn't that be nice? We'll tell you where that is after this 3-minute break. Stay tuned.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. The truth wins out. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us is Pastor David J. Meyer. He has been long requested by our listeners to be a guest on the program because of his experience in the occult. That's what people want to understand, is how bad is it out there? What really goes on in our protected little lives? Do we really understand how much evil exists? Pastor Myers, first of all, your website, and then which is linked to us if you happen to be on the thepowerhour.com, just go to today's guest. But your church is where? It's located where?
The church is in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. It's a little city of 15,000 people, and it's north of Madison, about 32 miles. And we have we're a small church. We have about 60 people. We could probably cram in about 100, but if you preach the truth, you never need a building program.
That's interesting. I like that.
But I was going to mention that, if people are interested in this subject, and we don't sell anything because we work only in contributions, and whether people can help us or not, we make our best effort to send them what they ask for. But we have it's actually a DVD or a tape series. It's actually, I think it's on 1 DVD, but it's on 4 tapes, or CD rather, pardon me. And it's called Witchcraft and the Occult in Church and State. And it's been flying off the shelves.
Wait a minute. Witchcraft and Occult in Church and State.
In church and State. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, you'd be surprised how many churches are involved in the occult.
Whoa. I got goosebumps when you said that. That is incredible.
Thanks to Union Theological Seminary and other such institutions, right? They are very much involved in the occult. That's why you go into some churches and you find Eastern religion being practiced. And it's a sad situation in the country today, but people aren't fighting spiritual battles and crying out to God and travailing in prayer like they should. Mm-hmm. They're being entertained. You've got the rock bands, you've got all the entertainment going on, and very little attention span for the Word of God. And this has allowed the devil to come in various guises and different ways, and he has literally captivated. I mean, there are